Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series with me, your host, Gyle. I'd like to thank everybody who has sent in replays since the last cast after I was requesting more because I was short of them. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to look at them yet because I've been super busy, but I promise you I will look at them at my earliest opportunity, and if they are exciting or show something new, I will feature them in an upcoming episode. To that end, I slammed Theta's Passage pretty heavily in the last episode, so I thought I'd better show one today. This is between CrazedCharriot and Chosen. It's quite a slightly older match, so let's head on over to Theta's Passage and see how they got on. So down here at the bottom left corner, we've got Chosen. He's going Seraphim, starting work on a land factory, a couple of power, nothing special. Flanking the mass point, however, to get that mass bonus off that first factory. And up here at the top right, CrazedCharriot working on a land factory, again flanking the mass point to get that initial bonus, and then working on a couple of power as well. So why do I slam this map, I hear you all saying? Well, I don't dislike it, I really don't. It is purely the quantity that has been played. It's actually a very dynamic map and makes for very good games. That is why it has been played a lot. You can see it's got this central ridge that runs from the middle to the bottom right hand corner, and it has two passes running through it. Nice bottlenecks where you can catch your opponent coming through if you're on it, and get them with a nice concave and get some kills, but also make a pass through. If you can break through on these sides, you can get round into the center of the central sections of their base, wherever it might be. Most of the fighting, however, tends to happen on this central open field. A nice little bit of reclaim you can see there as well. If you can kind of get control of this, get a nice base up with some T2 PD in this section, really is where you want to sort of get control of things. And then at the top left as well, you've got this little kind of plateau with a central section in it, and you can see a couple of mass points queued up there for CrazedCharriot. It's, I think, yeah, he's queued up mass points, so both of them working on that. That's also queued up for both of them have sent queues on that already. Wall sections look like Seraphim sections though, so it's quite ambitious for an engineer. Wants to get some reclaim down here and then come up, grab those mass points and hopefully wall it off. Well, props to him if he manages to do that. So in the meantime, Chosen's ACU has marched forward. He's assisted with the building around the hydrocarbon, getting that power bonus on the land factories, getting a couple of T1 power up, but working on a air factory as well. So hoping to take some kind of early air initiative. A couple of Thams. Gonna run into some Mantis up here at the top left. Slightly outnumbered though, however, so the Mantis are probably going to win that engagement. Indeed, the first Tham goes down, second one probably going to go down as well before picking up another Mantis kill. And ACU from Chosen march forward as well. No air actually from Chosen, sorry, from Chariot. So not looking like he's looking to contest that initially. So if there's going to be an air advantage grab early, it looks like it'll be Chosen who does it. Little combat scout that's going to pick up CrazedCharriot's ACU there, but is going to run into a Mantis and it will lose that fight every single time. So land-wise, definitely the early map control is going to be yielded, I think, to CrazedCharriot. He's got a little group of Mantis now pushing forward past the bottom section of Chosen's base. Going to drag those two Thams down rather than picking up that mass point, but a rear guard of Mantis will move in and take that mass point, and that forward guard, that sort of vanguard of Mantis will break off, pick up this engineer and these two mass points. A small little squad from Chosen has moved forward through the bottom section, the bottom passage. Picks up one Mantis, loses one Tham. That Tham's probably going to go down as well. So pretty serious yielding of map control in the early game. Little squads of Mantis absolutely everywhere, and Chosen looking slightly hemmed in, but you can see some bombers out for Chosen, and they're going to be uncontested in the early game right until the point where Chariot gets up some mobile anti-air from the ground. But for the moment, air control is with Chosen. He's got these bombers out and a couple of well-placed bombs you can see will work wonders, but you can see the microing happening from CrazedCharriot. Doesn't want these groups of Mantis to get caught out, but bombs away on that first one. A couple of scouts go down, a couple of other Mantis very badly damaged indeed. So this is some nice work from Chosen. It's working the advantage he's got. Another two Mantis go down. Another 3 Mantis go down. 3 more very heavily damaged, but that is the wonderful thing about Cybran in the early game. Those Mantis, of course, can assist in the building of anything. And so that anti-air turret is going to be spanned up nice and quickly, and that will offer them some protection. And this final, or one of these bombers that's left, is going to try and pull out without getting shot down, but he's not going to manage it. Indeed, down he goes. But that has freed up some of the land units of Chosen to take it out with artillery. So CrazedCharriot is going to try and knock those out with his ACU. And definitely Chosen's attention elsewhere, because those two not being micro backwards. But look at the push on the bottom from Chariot. Chosen needs to try and get his ACU down here, eliminate these if at all possible, because in terms of map control, just look how much better CrazedCharriot is doing. But he's actually really low on power. He only built 1 T1 power. Actually, he might have been bombed, or at least it was started and then not completed. But he's only got 1 T1 power up here and the hydrocarbon. And he's been upgrading mass as well. So if we take a look at his economy, he's really bottoming out on power, you can see. So that is a huge bottleneck, and he's completely full on mass. So he's going to be wasting mass and not running efficiently at all. But of course, by the same token, if we take a look at Chosen, he's been absolutely destroyed in the early game from map control. He is absolutely bottomed out on mass. He's got all the power he needs in the world. He's been building T1 power gens around the place. Obviously in anticipation of a slightly more heavy going air strategy. He's actually getting a radar system up, and he's anticipating having to do some work with his ACU to get back map control. So you can see he's queued up an energy storage there, wants to be able to use his overcharge, get what advantage he can out of it. And Bomber's still trying to make the rounds. You can see Chosen's correctly identified where Chariot is weak, trying to take out that hydrocarbon. Got it down to about half health, but the mobile anti-airs are being spammed out by those land factories now, so that will nullify the effect of the bombers, it looks like. So down here, these Mantis still guarding these bottom mass points, and Chosen just looking incredibly hemmed in. Take a look at his side of view of things. That is all he's got. Everything else is in CrazedCharriot's hands. But of course, he's still not making use of it. You can't do anything with the map control if you can't make that mass work for you. And if you haven't got the power, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. But he's still looking very strong indeed. CrazedCharriot, indeed, he's trying to lock down the open field, getting some T1 point defense with wall sections around them in the central section. And a very large body of Mantis, quite a few of them damaged from the strafing bombing runs from Chosen in the early game. That's another mass point. Looks like it's going to go down to this little Mantis hit squad that CrazedCharriot is positioned on Chosen's side of the map. Chosen's trying to chase them down with his ACU, but of course they're just not fast enough, the ACUs. CrazedCharriot expecting some kind of repercussions, gets his units out of there. Thankfully he's got the land scout with him, so he knew that ACU was incoming. And Chosen probably should think twice about sending this engineer over here. It's going to get picked off by these Mantis. But looking incredibly intimidating now, CrazedCharriot. So many Mantis, indeed picking up the mass points at the outer lying regions of Chosen's base for himself. But we are going to get some bombing runs coming in, and that's a very nice bomb indeed. If only you'd had another one to back it up, there would have been a whole lot of Mantis going down. One goes down, 3 more very heavily damaged. But of course, each time this happens, these Mantis are getting a little bit more beat up. Another point defense going down. He could probably do with some anti-air down here as well, because that's the main threat. But Chosen, having now worked very nicely on as many land units as he can, is deciding to go in. Enough's enough. Indeed, he's coming in with his ACU, making that overcharge work for him. Interestingly enough, CrazedCharriot is going to try and finish this point defense. Bomber's coming in as well. I think this is a mistake. CrazedCharriot should be getting his ACU involved down here, helping his Mantis thin out the enemy T1 units. This is not going to put any direct fire immediately, judging just by the positioning. He could just continue to build with backup Mantis that come along and get his ACU involved. Meanwhile, Chosen is doing a wonderful job with his ACU, thinning out all of these hordes. And I think that is actually going to yield this little section of the map back to Chosen. That's a very successful engagement to him indeed. And Chosen just sitting back, not getting his ACU involved, just wanting to repair the point defense, but that's not really helpful at all, because of course the artillery advantage that Chosen has, you can just sit out of range and take them out. Now Chosen's getting some comm action involved. Finally CrazedCharriot gets his ACU involved, working on these artillery, but at the same time, of course, not being able to do it in one because he doesn't have access to the overcharge, because his power is still in dire straits. You can see he's finally working on it now, but I don't see any energy storage just yet, so still no overcharge in operation for CrazedCharriot. But CrazedCharriot's still doing very well on map control, just denying any engineers that come forward from Chosen, trying to pick up these 4 mass points. He's got one just wandering around. I don't know how he managed to elude the little hit squad. Indeed, he won't for long. He's going to get promptly beaten up. He was just doing the rounds, picking up some mass, poor little fella, just trying to make a living. Promptly gets squashed by that little Mantis hit squad from CrazedCharriot. And that radar system going to go down, so that's going to help out Chosen quite a lot, denying that early intel. And actually the whole area of the map has been yielded. CrazedCharriot's been so concerned about air power, he's gone on an absolute mobile anti-air bender, building nothing but almost, so he's a little bit light on the ground at the moment. And being as the amount of forces that Chosen has now seems to be leaning towards the ground, he needs to change that up. But let's take a look at his economy, see if he's got it back on track with the power. No, he's still not. He must be upgrading something, or at least he just finished. So he's looking a little bit better now. For a moment there, he was bottomed out once again. But at least he's working on rectifying it now. It will hopefully get him back into the fight. Lots of bombers being produced now for Chosen. So I have to see what his next maneuver is. Chosen now getting control of this this field. He's going to continue pushing forward with his ACU. His ACU is quite beat up though. He's below 6,000 HP. So not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. Going to walk in here and pick up a Mantis. We're going to get these 2 armies facing off, but of course there's nothing land-wise, really. 3 Mantis in the whole group. And that's what he was doing. He was upgrading this factory to T2, so rather an interesting play when you're that low on power to go for a tech upgrade, tech switch, but that's what he's done, and it's going to allow him to get a Cerberus turret in. So hopefully that will allow him to stop Chosen's advance. That's his idea. And indeed, that Cerberus opens up. He's got a radar up as well behind there, so that's going to give him some very nice intel and coverage. It's going to give him all he needs. Getting up a T1 right next to it as well, just in case they get too close. Going to see how these forces do up close and personal. Chosen marching his ACU directly into the fracas, picking up as many units as he can, overcharging when he can, but he's very low on health. He doesn't want to be sticking around here. He's taking a lot of fire from that T1 PD. Indeed, he's going under 2,000 HP, and he needs to withdraw immediately. He's on 19 kills, so he will be due to get a rank up at any time. 1 more kill. There it goes. So he gets a little bit of a hit point boost, but he's taking so much fire from the T2 PD down to 800, 700, 600. Just strays out of range. And that was very nearly game over from Chosen. A little bit too gutsy there. Probably wasn't expecting the T2 turret. Thought he was in better shape. Wasn't expecting the upgrade onto T2. As you can hardly blame him, having scouted out the power problems that Chariot was having at the beginning. So there was a nice little tech switch from Chariot. Nearly won him the game there. But that T2 turret does go down from the bombers. And that's going to leave Chariot in difficult dire straits. He has got the tech advantage on the ground, and he can start producing bangers now, which will really help him keep the air clean if he actually manages to get one out. He's actually working on a T2 engineer now, but he's got some hoplites out, the T2 rocket bots, and that will help him outrange Chosen. But of course he is yielding map control now. This little squad, this forward army that's just been produced from Chosen, is drifting south. It's going to clean up these mass points. This little guarding force will be no problem for it whatsoever. Engineer going down there. So very much the tide turning in this game towards Chosen. Very much in favor of winning. You can see on points how much better he's doing, and that's all, in my mind, all down to the eco at the beginning of the game. That was a slight mistake from Chariot. But certainly the amount of forces being produced definitely in Chosen's favor, although of course no tech switch yet that I can see. He's producing or changing. In fact, no, scratch that. He has upgraded his air, so we've got a T2 land versus T2 air. So he's producing gunships out of it. And that will probably be the end of CrazedCharriot. And this forward force just making a run to around the back of Chariot's base. Wants to pick up this T2 mass point, if at all possible. But I'm not sure it's going to be able to, not with these hoplites here. Hasn't identified it as a priority. Takes out a land factory. Takes out the hydrocarbon, and that is going to put Chariot in a difficult place. Look at that, minus 58 power. That is painful. Wants to take out that mass point if he can, though. Just hasn't got the forces in the back of the base to do so. But another Cerberus up for CrazedCharriot. That is going to help him hang on here. But interestingly enough, Chosen hasn't dispatched a force to take out these 2 mass points. He's probably just going to send this engineer to do so. It's just got him to pick up that mass point, do a little bit of reclaim. You'd imagine his next stop will be up here to cap those 2. Wants to get some forces down here, otherwise he could lose a couple of mass points to this little Mantis group that somehow has managed to sneak around the back. He's going to be aware of them. He's got Inties flying over the top. He might not be that concerned about it, actually. But a very grisly looking force of hoplites assembling now for CrazedCharriot. Quite a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will cause untold damage. But of course, this mix of FAMs and the Stewies, the T1 artillery for Chosen, for the Seraphim, wreaking absolute havoc. Another energy or power plant going down for CrazedCharriot, which he can ill afford. And units just getting in everywhere. And CrazedCharriot down to nothing except this factory. That looks like it's not going to last much longer. And this T2 factory in here. So it really is just a tiny little pocket of resistance. Has to get this hydrocarbon up now, otherwise he can't do anything. But of course, doesn't take much to get a hydrocarbon up, not at this stage of the game. But it really is tech versus spam at this point. Chosen going mass T1 spam on the ground. And Chariot just trying to stave off with Cerberus turrets and hoplites. Doing a pretty good job, actually, of holding this off, all things being equal. Very nice work with those hoplites. Just putting fire down, using his commander at the front of his base. I don't think he's got overcharge. I don't think he's got the power to use overcharge.
Commander under attack.
And he probably hasn't. He hasn't got a energy storage at any case, so not having that available to him is a little bit of a shame. And Chosen just dragging the forces, taking one force one way and then attacking with another at the top left. And when the hoplites move forward, he's moving in at the bottom, so doing all the right things at the moment. And you've got to feel it's only a matter of time. I don't really see any way back from this for CrazedCharriot. It's a pity for him. He really nearly had Chosen when Chosen attacked earlier, marching his ACU into the front of his base and promptly getting twatted by that Cerberus turret. I really did misjudge that, but just didn't have enough punching power. If he'd had one more PD, that would have been game over. In fact, perhaps if he'd have switched the Cerberus turret to fire on the ACU earlier and not just the T1 PD, he might not have made it out of there. But he didn't, and as such, Chariot is in a pretty poor position. And I think it's only a matter of time now. Just have to see how long it takes Chosen to end this. And hoplites skirting around the edge of the base, just kind of on a patrol route. So much mass to reclaim, so in theory Chariot could hang on here for a little while. Definitely Chosen needs to find the right time to deploy this group of gunships that he's got now. Nasty little force. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looks like 12 gunships or thereabouts. But doesn't want to run into any bangers, of which there are 2, because they will get decimated. Corsair getting kind of beat up on his way over. Just makes it out with 5 hit points, but it's going to do a very ill-fated second run and probably get blown out of the sky. Indeed, there it goes. And Chosen deciding not to use the gunships, sending in the Corsair again. Not sure what the benefit of that is just yet. He's probably testing the water, seeing where he's weak, if anywhere, on the air. Probably sees this as the time when he can end it. waiting for any of the anti-air to be drawn if at all possible. But that radar he's got up in his base right there is going to give him very good intel on where those air units are. It'd be a good idea if Chosen could take that out. Promptly going to run into all of the bangers, focusing them down as best he can, but look at them all getting popped out of the sky. Absolute barbecue. And what was supposed to be, I imagine, the final blow for Chosen definitely hasn't worked out that way. Running into 2 T1 anti-air turrets and 3 bangers will do that to your horde of T2 gunships. And he's running through at the same time with his force, but still CrazedCharriot manages to hang on. Credit to him. Phenomenal work, really. Extraordinary. Chosen must just be thinking, oh my god, what do I have to do? Has finally picked up the mass points at the top left and is continuously denying mass. I mean, all the mass that's kind of in range of Chariot's base he's unable to do anything with, because of course constant relentless attacks that are coming forward from Chosen. So credit to Chariot, he's doing a fine job with what he's got. That tech upgrade, whilst possibly also the thing that killed him in one way or shape or form, is also the thing that's allowing him to hang on here. He's making phenomenal use of the bangers and the hoplites. No tech upgrade as yet, it looks like, from the land for Chosen. Still working on the gunships, despite that last ill-fated mission. Air sorties not going to plan. Must suck to be an air pilot in Chosen's air force. Of course, I know they're all robots, so probably not, but you know what I mean. But once again, just not able to finish him off. CrazedCharriot, of course, the objective on his ACU, well over 10,000 HP, looking in good shape at the moment. And it's pretty extraordinary considering he's not able to use his overcharge. So this game just going on, marching on into the 23rd minute, well on, well, way further on than you'd expect it to be. And another force of gunships building up there for Chosen. Looks like 6 or 7. And Chariot actually pushing out with his hoplite now. A little hoplite force guarded by a few bangers. Seeing if you can get back some map control. I'd love to see a turnaround at this point. Not sure it's going to happen. He's lost too much. But there's actually the forces have dried up a little bit from Chosen. I'm wondering if he's doing an upgrade on any of his land. He hasn't got any yet. All T1 land still, but he really could do with some T2 land. That would help him finish this. How's his economy doing? And he could do with slowly upgrading 1 or 2 mass extractors as well. Getting his ACU involved now that he's healed up a little bit, and that could be the way he could win this. Get in there, overcharge some of these T2 units. So if he keeps going in with a horde of T1, he's going to end up with the same result every time because he can't get up enough quantity of units to do so. So once again, it looks like he's gonna Chariot's gonna hold that off. And whilst coming forward initially with his comm, Chosen decides to turn it around. And gunships coming in again, trying to pick off the bangers as best he can, but he's got another force of them coming in here. And using the inties to scout, knows he's not going to face any opposition in the air at this point, so they're more or less useless. Banger's going to chase down some landed gunships that just make it away. Barely any health left at all. Still no T2 land for Chosen. Not that I can see at any rate. Get some Ilshivers on the case would help him end it. And Chosen looking to get a forward base up and running. Trying to mix things up a little bit. But doesn't want to get too close. CrazedCharriot getting a Cerberus turret up and running. And unfortunately that base goes up straight away. And it's immediately in range of a brand new Cerberus turret. How annoying. So Chosen must be scratching his head at this point, wondering why Chariot won't die. Another turret going down. Of course, could have some success actually with a bit of point defense creep if it could wrestle some map control with it. Because Chosen not managing to do anything with the air, and indeed he's managed to get the rear mass points back up and running and one of the side mass points in his favor. So in terms of economy, Chariot looking a lot healthier. And Chosen trying to do a run by with some T1 Thams, but the brand new Cerberus turrets at the front of the base just going to brutalize him. In fact, no, these are the ones at the center of the base. Excuse me. So he's got a very nice line of Cerberus turrets going down for that is going down for Chariot, and that is going to make life awfully difficult for Chosen. Indeed, he has finally made the tech switch to T2. We can see some Ilshavas in there now. He's got 3 in that main body and some mobile missile launchers. So finally, Chosen has some weapons that will hopefully help him deal with this situation. Because if things were going to continue like this, I know it looked like it was all in the bag, but at this level, things can turn around so fast if you're not finishing off your opponent. Look at all the point defense going down. The CrazedCharriot really trying to secure the map. But Chosen coming in at just the right time. A full assault with all different types of units. He's got T2 in there. He's got the T1 artillery. Gunships coming in after CrazedCharriot's ACU. Drops below 8,000. Drops below 6,000. He needs to back it up, get the bangers involved, and take out these gunships. 4,000 hit points. It's going to be very close indeed. Down into the red. 2,000 hit points. Oh, 1,500 hit points. No, don't change targets. He's going after the bangers. If he'd have stayed on, he might have got him. Or I don't know, he was low on hit points. 1,700 hit points. Oh my god, and Chosen just doesn't know what to make of it. Absolutely extraordinary. Chariot just won't yield. So it's actually quite extraordinary. Games on Theta don't usually go on this long. I can see why Chosen selected to send me this replay. It certainly is entertaining. So Hoplites now coming forward to engage this forward force of Chosen, but thinks better of it. Withdraws back in range of the main base, and brand new Cerberus turrets going up. In fact, it wasn't a complete loss for Chosen. Chariot lost all of that point defense that he'd been working on. A lot of mass and energy had gone into that, but so a little bit of map control yielded, and Chosen's in a much better situation. Indeed, he's getting an upgrade on his commander. He's got some T2 units now. Probably working on a gun upgrade or a T2. We'll check in a minute. Don't want to miss a moment of this action. Some very nice strafing forward and back from CrazedCharriot with those hoplites, making use of the extended range advantage he's got. Just forcing Chosen's units back while he can get up some more T1 and T2 defense. Needs to get more anti-air up and running, since Chosen has been using the air heavily, although he's actually stopped now, so that wouldn't be a good call for him right now. Actually, he hasn't. He's back out, the gunships come again. And Chosen in a better situation. He's getting some T2 extractors up and running now. That's why he's looking a lot healthier. Indeed, he's got a lot of them. So, economically speaking, Chariot sitting on 22 mass and Chosen sitting on 45 mass. So, massive economical advantage at the moment. Finally, Chariot gets up some kind of air, and that is going to help him deal with it. And Chosen needs to do something about it. Really doesn't want Chariot getting back on his feet at the moment. Chosen upgraded commander strolling into the front of his base. Let's take a look at what he's got
under attack
on there. It looks like he's got the nano repair system, which is going to help him repair himself, and the accelerator on his gun, so his rate of fire is going to be increased. And he wants to be overcharging all T2 units he can get in range of, but absolutely swamping his base now. And this is the attack that he's been wanting to push for some time. You've got Cerberus turrets going down left, right and center. So much artillery piling into his base, and that's going to wreak absolute havoc. He's not worried about the casualties. He's just trying to cause catastrophic damage to the base. All that work that has gone in for CrazedCharriot, and indeed CrazedCharriot has been forced to withdraw his commander right to the rear of his base. He just can't contend with that, not with the T2 units involved as well. His commander will get absolutely beaten on. Still, that T2 factory survives, but Chosen smelling blood now. Absolutely gunning for CrazedCharriot's ACU finally at the 33rd minute. And that ACU just strolling back, getting absolutely hammered, down to 1500 hit points, isn't going to get away from this. Finally, he's going to go down, and Chosen bags the victory. Very well done to him, but oh my god, didn't that take ages. Chosen, die! Very good game indeed, gentlemen. Well played, exceptionally interesting to watch. Got a few chesters out from Chariot, hammering on Chosen's ACU. Not sure that was going to do anything in any time. We had interceptors coming in, also that nano repair up and running, of course, on the ACU for Chosen. So no danger there. But oh my god, I think that's probably one of the most drawn out thetas I've seen in a while. It has been a long time since I saw one. But just shows you, doesn't matter even if it's a map you're sick of, you can be entertained thoroughly by stuff like that. Indeed, I shouldn't be so hard on it. If you enjoyed that, guys, incidentally, if you come across these videos and you are not native to Forged Alliance or FAF, let me go into it a little bit about it. I'm sorry if you're bored of hearing this, but of course that is the whole purpose of these casts, to try and draw more people to it. This is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, which is available for download from Steam for a very modest sum. In the UK, it's £10. I'm not sure what it is in your local currency, but it will be somewhere equal to that. And a few years ago, well, I say a few years, last year, GPG, the company that developed Supreme Commander, dropped support for it. So the community matchmaking client, the GPG account that ran all of the multiplayer games, was pulled. And so the community, not wanting to let the game die, got together and made a client called Forged Alliance Forever, which is the community project, the name. And honestly, it's a seriously cool piece of kit. All you need to do is download the game from Steam, or install it if you've got the discs. It works equally well with it. You don't have to do anything complicated. And you go to the link in the description of the channel of this video, sorry, in the comments, just above the comment section below, and you will be able to download the Forged Alliance Forever client, which will give you a chat lobby and a matchmaking system, which will allow you to find games, team up with people. You've got loads of people on there, 450 to 500 players at peak times, and there's all sorts of levels. You've got pros like the game we've just watched. You've also got lots and lots of newbies, new people joining us all the time. So it doesn't matter what standard you are, come along and say hello and give it a go. But anyway, that's enough from me for now. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. This is Gyle signing off.